Greetings, Geeslings. Geeshan Prime here with my review of Attack on Titan, Chapter 100, Declaration of War. And I have to tell you, I'm having a super hard time trying to condense this chapter into a nicer little package. But it's a monster. It's a Titan. But let's give it my best, shall we? Starts off, which at first it kind of confused me during my live reaction, but it's a flashback before the speech/play. Billy's discussing with McGrath about how the enemy will probably attack during the speech, and that they should move the army executives further in the back of the special seats. I don't remember where the special seats were. Then Billy states that more recently the Tiber family has made more sincere exchanges with the upper class of the world to improve the Eldians' status, and also to keep an eye on the trends of Paradise Island. But then he mentions the enemy has come to Marley and may attack at any time. But the bigger issue is who they might be working with. Marley has many enemies, and some of those enemies might even be in the military itself. While telling the plan, he mentions that they'll be rooting out anybody that's in the military or in the government. Afterwards, McGrath will be able to rebuild it as he sees fit, which was mentioned in, I can't remember, I didn't look into it, chapter either 98 or 99. I think it was 99 though. I'm almost certain. But then McGrath starts listing off some of the problems with the plan. Billy being the bait, the lives that will be lost are incalculable, the unknown enemy, their motives, and their means of attack. Billy accepts accepts his possible fate. Anyway, during the speech, McGrath gets informed that the Titan Shifters have all been taken, or at least they're gone. And then we see Porco and Peck. They were the ones that fell down that trap door, which turns out is like an old style Titan Shifter trap. They can't transform because it's a narrow chain or like shaft that they're in. So if they transform, it'll basically crush them to death, which with their I have problems with this. Their regenerative properties should be able to more or less save them long enough for, like, say, Peck gets on the bottom, Porco gets on top of her, they Titan shift, or transform. Why did I say Titan shift? They transform, he gets out, she turns back to normal, he can either go get a rope, or just like reach down and maybe grab her, or he could just possibly do it. I mean, he's a fairly thin Titan anyway. But yeah, I mean, we've seen Reiner without a head, basically. I don't think crushing to death is a matter for a Titan Shifter. But whatever, it's what they say. They've got food and water down there, so they were expected to stay. But anyway, she also mentions that the soldier that led them there, she's seen them before. Which, as I mentioned in my live reaction, I didn't notice this until I was watching other people's reviews and stuff. That all the soldiers that we saw that were leading them away, like they all had shadows over their eyes. I thought that was just, the author's, like, I've only drawn so many faces, no sense in going to so much detail into it. Or as it kind of made more sense, is that they're all our buddies from Paradise. So yeah, which I want to say that it was Armin who led them down there, which would make some sense, but I'm not sure. There's too many of them to really keep up with on who they might have been. But anyway, so yeah, she makes note of that. Billy details the creation of the walls. King Fritz used his founding Titan powers to make giant spears and shields. The spears are actually Titans, and the shields are them hardening into the very walls themselves, which we got like way back when they like chipped at the wall a little bit and you found a titan inside. But it's specified that they are colossal titans, which would make sense given how tall they are, but I always thought they were just like titans on top of each other kind of thing. So, but I guess with the founding titans, titan giving powers, that I guess making multiple colossals is possible, but I don't know. And I mean, otherwise the other alternative is, okay, say I'm the founding titan, or not the founding titan, but I'm the colossal titan, and then I do my little section of the wall, and then they pull me out, and then they eat me, and then they do the same thing until finally all three walls are built. That would be ineffectual as anything. But I don't know. But given what we later see, the Titans are actually still in there. So as well, actually what we saw earlier in the series. So maybe they are all Colossals. But anyway, let's see, where did I leave off? Also, that each wall is named after one of Ymir's daughters. So that was a nice little tidbit. Then Billy starts talking about Paradise Island's ultimate power, which is the army of colossal titans that are in the walls. And they could basically level the earth by just walking. And that's scary in itself, but apparently it can't be stopped once it starts. And this would only happen because of the pacifist nature of the Fritz family line. That if it was given to someone outside the bloodline, or the royal bloodline, then this possibility would happen. So apparently this is the threat that he held over the world. So it's interesting. I still don't know how you breed an oath into people, you know? But anyway, Falco starts understanding the situation he's in, and it's not good. He's feeling betrayed by Eren. The deceptions, it's just all over the place. You know, he helped deliver those letters to people that he thought were Eren's family, just to find out, no, it was his comrades. And he starts viewing this as his chance, along with Reiner, to gain the Founding Titan, something that Marley's been wanting to do for a long time. Eren confirms, like, because the whole time Billy's still giving his speech and stuff, and he confirms Billy's words are true, that he did come here to wreak havoc. But then he starts playing a bit of a guilt trip with Reiner, and saying that, like, while living amongst the enemy as he has probably for the last few months, he comes to realize that both sides aren't really that different. And Reiner even admits that he's the one who persuaded Annie and Bertolt, as we saw in the flashback, to continue their mission after Marcel's death, and this would cause havoc in Paradise, and that's when the wall came down, and how it's affected Eren's life, because, I mean, for the most part, they've been innocent. I mean, other than Fritz being the possible problem child of it all, no one really was a threat. They were just people living their lives, and Reiner now knows this, and that's why he's wanted to kill himself a couple chapters ago. And yeah, with that, we see Billy, he's, you know, proclaiming to everyone, it's like, please join forces with me and we will see forth into the future of a peaceful world. And it's like, I declare war, you know, on Paradise. And Eren does a similar thing. It's kind of a mirror in some regards, but I could be thinking of another chapter. But extending hands, because, or no, wait, it was at the beginning of the chapter. Billy extends his hand to McGrath as much as Eren does to Reiner in this, so Reiner might be changing sides. And he declares, I will wipe you all out, my enemies, just as you tried to do us. And he goes to transform. He smashes through the wall of or the building that they're in, right behind the stage as Billy's declaring his act of war, and he's like, "What?" And then Eren just smashes the stage. Everyone's looking on teary-eyed as Eren had grabbed Billy, and it looked like he did quite a bit of damage to him. I thought the first time is that he only just smashed him into the ground, but no, he's twisted up and just a gory mess. One of his legs is about to come off. How do you do that? By just squeezing someone. Goku didn't have that happen to him when Vegeta got him. Dragon Ball fans would understand that. Way back. But yeah. And then he starts declaring his war, and that was how the chapter ended. Overall, it had a fairly slow start, so the pacing was a little off for me, which is part of the reason why I'm going to demote this down to a 3.5 out of a 5, half a point less than what I gave it during my live reaction. Mostly because I was hyped up for the stuff that happened later, and I was I don't remember the bad stuff of this chapter, so it only gets a 3.5. Also, the stress it was giving me just trying to make this review, but that's not really an issue. But anyway, thank you for watching, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Quiche Lings, roll out.